fan, so I invited him here today as a co-host, and we were joined by special guest Coach Hugh Jackson, coach in the NFL with the Raiders, Browns, Bengals, Raiders, and you name it. And he's trying to make a comeback in the league, so we're going to ask him about that and other things that are going on in this world. And obviously, we're living in a tough world, but we're getting through it as one nation. So, but first of all, Hugh Jackson, I just want to say this is truly an honor for you to come on. And how are you and your family doing during this tough situation?
Doing well. I mean, first of all, thank you guys for having me. As you said, this is a tough time. This pandemic, the presidency, the election, everything that we're going through, it's just been tough. But at the same time, I think hopefully people have found different ways to make it through and fight through. And all of us are trying to come out the other side of it.
Definitely, for sure.
Yeah, so Kaylee, you want to tell him more about yourself before we get into the question?
Yeah, Hugh. First of all, very, very honored to be able to talk to you. I'm a huge Browns fan. I've kind of been there through it all for the last few years. Like I said, I thought you were a great coach. I live in Columbus. I just moved here. I do work with the Buckeyes, stuff like that for my job. So I've always been a huge sports fan, huge Browns fan. Cavs fan when LeBron was there, so it's been cool to be there through the high times, the low times, and I appreciate all that you've done for the game of football. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So my first question to you is, when did you get interested in coaching? Obviously, your resume speaks for itself, but when did you get interested in coaching, and who was your biggest influencer in that?
It probably goes all the way back to me, to my Pop Warner coaches, Coach Steve Fortier, Coach Willie Ray Johnson. Those guys, for whatever reason, always put me out in front of everything. I was the quarterback then in Pop Warner. I became the quarterback in college. And, it's like anything else. You become the environment you're around. And so that's kind of the way it started for me. They were my coaches. They were also like my second parent. And so those guys really did a great job of putting me in situations to where I could find success.
Definitely.
You want Canley? You want to go?
Yeah, I do have a question for you. So I was looking at the 2017 drafts, and obviously, for as good as Patrick Mahomes has been, his first couple of years in the league, and you look at a guy like Myles Garrett, who the Browns took at number 1. When you kind of look at how both of their careers are going right now, I know you were the coach at the time. Would you want to build your team around a guy like Mahomes now, a quarterback on offense, or would you still be safe with a guy like Garrett on defense, build your team around him? Which one would you say with the current way their careers are going?
Right. I would still be safe with Myles, but there was still a chance to get Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? We had 2 first-round draft picks. So I think we took the right guy. I think he's a generational player. I think he's proven that out. I think he's one of the best defensive rush ends in all of pro football. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks, league MVP, Super Bowl champion. And nothing says that you couldn't get both, But at the time, we took the defensive end because I think that's the other element in the National Football League you better have. You better be able to rush the passer. But there's no question you can't win if you don't have a quarterback.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, so my next question to you is, while growing up, who did you look up to as a legendary coach in the NFL? Was it like a Tom Landry or like a Jimmy Johnson type of coach?
No, well, the coaches for me when I was growing up, they were the Tony Dungys.
Oh wow.
World. When you're a young minority coach and you looked around the league and saw who were the people, it was Tony Dungy. Mm-hmm. Tony Dungy was the guy, Art Shell, Dennis Green. Those were the people that Ray Rhodes, those are the people you connected yourself with because they were more like you, they looked like you, and you wanted to say, hey, if those guys could do it, you could too.
That's good. Yeah, I like that. When you look at all the coaching positions that you've had obviously head coach, quarterbacks coach, running back coach, offensive coordinator. Which of the coaching positions has been like the most fulfilling to you? Like, which one do you think you've like flourished the most in, or which one would you be most comfortable doing if you made a return?
Well, I mean, when I was a head coach in Oakland, I think I did a great job there. Obviously, the situation was a little different in Cleveland. Being the coordinator, because as a head coach, I was a coordinator as well. So that's something I wear greatly because you're in charge of the offense. I'm an offensive coach. I understand quarterbacks. I understand how to get them to play, how to prepare them. I know how to prepare an offense and get it to play and play at a high level. So, obviously being a head coach is, I've been there, done that now, know what that is, but I would love to go back and lead an offense and get back to that good feeling of scoring points and strategy against defensive coaches. That's always fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, so obviously you had a lot of college experience bouncing from team to team, and what experience did you learn in college that got you ready to be the NFL to be in the NFL as a coach?
Well, when you coach at the highest level of college, which I thought, coaching at USC or Cal Berkeley or Arizona State was for me, and the coaches I coach with, John Robinson is an icon in my opinion in college football. He coached in the National Football League. Steve Mariucci at Cal was phenomenal. Bruce Snyder won the Rose Bowl at Arizona State. So those guys were, and he coached the National Football League. So those were guys that had NFL experience. And so I learned so much from those men. And I felt that, wow, if they could do it, it goes back to that same mindset. If they could do it, I can too. And the guy that probably motivated me the most was John Gruden, because we were office mates at the University of Pacific. And so every day, he would put me up on the board, and he really taught me football. And I'm very grateful and thankful for that. But those are the people who really influenced my career that way and made me really understand that I could go as far as I wanted to.
Is college football something you think you'd ever go back to?
Oh, absolutely. In the right situation, I would in a heartbeat. I know there's a lot of recruiting involved, but at the same time, that's probably the toughest part of it. It's still football at the end of the day. It's still coaching and getting young men to follow a common vision in order to achieve a goal.
Okay.
Yeah, so my next question is obviously NFL, going to the NFL. Take me back to your first experience in the NFL, and how grateful are you that obviously you coached the Browns and then Bengals, Ravens, but how grateful are you that you got to experience different teams in the NFL, just like college, and learning different personalities, like for the players and your coaching staff?
I think that's very important. And I hate to say it this way, but for minorities, it's really important because unless you are getting those opportunities, you're going to stay stuck maybe in one position. And I'm just being very honest. When I was coming up, in order to have a chance to ascend in the career space, you had to go coach the quarterback. And that took a long time for me to get there. I've been a coordinator, but wasn't a quarterback coach. Been a play caller, but wasn't the quarterback coach. So you had to go check all those boxes in order to have a chance to be a head coach. So the moving was for that reason. I wasn't hopping jobs to go learn something here or there. I can learn more things off of tape or meet with people individually. I was doing that because that to me is what it took to be able to sit in a chair that where only 18 minority men have ever sat, or else I wouldn't have gotten that opportunity.
Definitely. When you look at your style of coaching, I know you said offensive coordinator is something you'd be interested in again. Which NFL team, like currently, do you think, would suit your style of offense the best?
It's the Chiefs. They're wide open, and they're wide open, and they go after it. If you go back to my time in Cincinnati, that's what we were. I know they talk about innovative coaches. I was one of the most innovative coaches there was at one time. And then when you go to other jobs, sometimes you can't do what you did at other jobs. You just don't have that kind of firepower. So you have to figure out a way to play the hand that you're dealt, per se. But I would like to lock horns and wits with anybody from that standpoint, because I love that part of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking of minority coaches, obviously you guys are not getting any opportunities. Just like for example, Eric Bemerly from the Chiefs, offensive coordinator. I don't know, he should have gotten a head coaching job last year, and I'm hoping he does get one this year, and especially for you, who's trying to make a comeback. And I'm just surprised that you guys are not getting another chance in the league. Like Marvin Lewis, for example, took the Bengals to the playoffs for like 9 straight years. But
no, it's hard. It's disappointing. Obviously, it's something that needs to be addressed. And I think there's two sides of it. Not only are guys, the Jim Caldwells, the Marvin Lewises that you just mentioned, those guys have been very successful where they've been and they're out. The Hugh Jackson, people would say, hadn't been as successful at Cleveland, and he's out. But that doesn't mean I can't coach, So that doesn't mean I couldn't be a coordinator somewhere or a position coach somewhere. We don't normally leave head coaching jobs and get a chance to go back and coach, another position or be a coordinator. And I hate to say it, but our counterparts, they do. And that's what's so hard. So I'm sitting out the last 2 years for what? You mean to tell me that I couldn't compete with 32 other NFL coordinators? I know I can, but you have to be given that opportunity.
Okay. When obviously with you being with the Browns and the Bengals and the AFC North, and you have a guy like Mike Tomlin, who's a minority coach, who's doing as well as he has, like, what does that mean to you? Obviously, like, from a football standpoint, he's a rival, but just, as two black men, one succeeds, and it's kind of like, the other side is whatever. But what does that mean for you to see Mike Tomlin doing what he's doing?
Unbelievable. I mean, I'm one of Mike's biggest supporters. I mean, at one time in that division, there were 3 minority head coaches, myself, Mark, him. And just, I think it was last week, he's the winningest minority head coach in the history of pro football. And to me, it's well-deserved. He does a great job. His team is well coached, well prepared. They play hard. And you can't say enough about Mike, what he's done, and I'm thankful because hopefully it will continue to grow and more young minorities will look to him and say, boy, you can really do this if you get in the right situation.
Yeah, obviously. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Go ahead. Oh, you're good, Hanley?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my next question here, obviously Mike Tomlin, man, has had the Steelers playing high level right now, 7-0, and obviously I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so unfortunately,
look out now.
We got Pittsburgh this week coming up, and so obviously the Cowboys were not playing well. But I gotta ask you, I'm just curious, how come the Cowboys never reached out to you for the head coaching job? Because I feel like you could have been a perfect fit for Dallas offense, and how come Jerry Jones never reached out to you? And I like Mike McCarthy, but I don't think he's the right fit for Dallas. I think you are the right fit for Dallas, in my opinion.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I couldn't tell you why. I know they reached out to Marvin. If Marvin would have had the job, got the job, I would have been right there with him. So I feel good about that. But at the same time, again, that's the Cowboys. I don't understand why they're not winning because it's the Dallas Cowboys. At the end of the day, that's America's team, so somehow, some way, they got to get it back. And nothing against Coach McCarthy and his staff, but they got to, find a way to get this thing turned around.
Which team has been more of a surprise to you this year, the Cowboys or the Patriots?
The Cowboys or the Patriots is not a surprise to me because I think Coach Belichick said it. He said it. Look, we sold out. We did everything we could, and we won 3 Super Bowls. I thought that was as forthcoming as you can get. People may not understand that. People might say, well, no, you saved some money over here. You can do this and do that. Well, look, I mean, they won 3 Super Bowls, and Tom Brady's playing at the Bucs right now. So let's just be. But when I look at the Cowboys, obviously losing Dak, who's a tremendous player, tremendous talent. So it tells you, just like any team in the National Football League, you have to have a backup quarterback, And they chose Andy, and I think Andy is good enough for them. And then he gets hurt, and so now you're playing your backup to the backup to the backup, and that's tough, But defensively is where my biggest issue has been with the Cowboys. In order to help an offense play good, your defense got to be good. And there's a lot of big money guys on defense that just either they're not playing really well or something's just not right.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do remember that rumor. So if Marvin Lewis got the Dallas job, you would have been the offensive coordinator, right? You agreed?
I would have been right there with him. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah. So my next question to you, I want to get to your Raiders career because is that where you connected with Amy Trask?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes, and she's the best. There's no better person than Miss Amy. She is outstanding. She knows more about sports than
yeah.
most men know about sports. So trust me, when I tell you, she's on it.
Yeah. So what experience did you learn from the Oakland Raiders, now called the Las Vegas Raiders, and what's it like seeing your running mate John Gruden, having them playing great football so far? I mean, they're having a good season, and hopefully they can. I think they have a chance to make the playoffs still. But what's it like for you that you coach that team and now seeing John Gruden back coaching with that team?
Well, first of all, I'm very proud of John because John is he's a football coach. I mean, through and through. I knew the announcing Monday Night Football was great, but boy, there's nothing like being on the grass. And he's back with an organization that that he loves. And so to watch the Raiders, me having coached the Raiders, doing well, playing good, I'm excited about that. My time in Oakland working for Al Davis. I was Al Davis's last head coach. The guy's an icon. He was phenomenal to me. He was great to me. I wish, he hadn't passed. I probably would have still been in Oakland. I might have got that 10-year, $100 million contract. You never know. But no, the biggest thing is that was one of the greatest times of my life, being in Oakland. I love the city. They're now the Las Vegas Raiders. I know Vegas is excited about them. I've been involved with the Black Hole myself because we have a tequila brand that they've made their tequila brand. It's the only tequila brand there for the Black Hole. So it's been great. But watching them play well, they have unbelievable fans, and they love their Raiders.
So to kind of talk about, when you go from being a college coach at USC to making the transition to being a coach in the NFL, what is that like? Like, you obviously went from USC to Washington. You move across the country. It's probably different for you and your family. What was that like?
It was the first time seeing snow and having to deal. I've never been in the snow. I'm a West guy, and so that was different within itself. Coaching men, I mean, grown men. We're not talking about recruits. We're not talking about guys who are still trying to figure some things out. We're talking about men who have families and whose value is so important within the organization, and they want you as the coach to keep their value up and improve their value. Yeah. So that was the pressure that I felt, but I felt like I was more than ready. I did enough minority internships prior to all that. Marty Schottenheimer was a head coach he's an icon in my opinion himself. So I was going to work for one of the best, and Jimmy Ray was the offensive coordinator. Brian Schottenheimer was the quarterback coach. I was going to be with a group of people that I really believed in and trust. And boy, it was a good time. And coaching Stephen Davis was awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
Yeah, so obviously you coach with really good coaches throughout your career, but I want to get to your Ravens career with the quarterbacks coach. How grateful are you that John Harbaugh gave you the opportunity to coach with him in Baltimore, and what was it like learning from him? And obviously he's a great coach.
He's a tremendous coach, and he catapulted my career. I say that all the time, and he doesn't take credit for it, but he did, because he allowed me to help draft and coach the quarterback in Joe Flacco, and so that gave me a chance to have that on my resume, that he has coached the quarterback at a high level, a rookie. And then obviously my career went over to Oakland, but being at the Ravens was phenomenal because you're around Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, Elodie, Bart Scott. I mean, and then on offense, Marshall Yanda, Derek Mason, we had some tremendous players. And so to watch that first year of us doing some really good things with a young quarterback, making the playoffs, and going to the AFC championship game with Joe Flacco was really good. And so I was very excited. And again, like I said, I thank John Harbaugh all the time, because without him, I wouldn't have been able to move forward. But more so than that, watching his style, and that's why the Baltimore Ravens are still successful. I mean, you're talking about two of the most successful coaches are in one division, Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh.
When you look at, let's say 4 teams right now in the NFL, let's say you look at the top 2 in the AFC versus the top 2 in the NFC. I think this year it seems like the Steelers and the Chiefs are the 2 from the AFC. The NFC, maybe the Seahawks, and I can throw the Buccaneers in there. who are like the 4 teams, 2 from each conference, you think are kind of the ones that you're going to maybe see like the last 4 left this year in the playoffs and then like the Super Bowl? Who are your 4 teams?
You just nailed it. I mean, I do this all the time. I think those are the 4 teams. I mean, when you look at Pittsburgh, they're unbelievable defensively. Mm-hmm. I think Ben is finding his way back, you know, and with these young receivers. And as he gets more familiar with them, the better they will be. The Kansas City Chiefs are the Kansas City Chiefs. They're the defending, you know, they're defending champions, you know, with an unbelievable quarterback, unbelievable, you know, cast. They just brought Le'Veon Bell in. He's going to add even more to that offense as they move forward. You talk about the 2 teams in the NFC. I'm always going to root for Pete Carroll because he's a UOP Tiger just like me. Graduates of UOP, and I expect nothing less. They just picked up, you know, obviously the young defensive end from the Bengals. Carlos, that's going to be interesting to see if he can help them defensively, because if they get a little bit more of a rush, they're going to be really dangerous, because I think they're playing with the league MVP right now in Russell Wilson. I think it's second to none. He's playing lights out. I mean, it's just not even close. And then you look at what's going on in Tampa Bay, you know, the GOATs there, you know, Tom Brady doing his thing, and then, okay, AB, you come play with it, me too, you know. They're only going to get better. And then defensively, Todd Bowles is doing a phenomenal job. He's one of the best coaches in that league, and he's doing a great job on defense. So those are the 4 teams. A team that I'm you know, that a week ago I felt really good about was the Packers. And then them losing this past week, I felt differently, you know, even though Mike Zimmer is one of my best friends. That was a different loss for the Packers. But those are the 4 teams I think that are the top teams right now.
Okay. Good deal.
Yeah, so I'm going to put you on the spot here, Hugh Jackson. This is a $1 million question. So obviously you're trying to make a comeback. And have you been in contact with like college teams or NFL teams for like offensive coordinator jobs? And if it's a head coaching opportunity, would you consider coaching the Jets if that opens up? That's up soon.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I'll consider coaching any place and anywhere. My agent has talked to people, and there's been other people call, but we'll see where this all goes. You know, I think a lot of people call right now, but sometimes that nobody knows exactly how things are going to unfold. I think every year there's 3 to 5 jobs that are out there, so I think there's going to be an opportunity, and how it unfolds, I don't know. You know, I'm just ready to get back on the grass and do what I do and help someone become what they want to become.
Well, we're rooting for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
You guys know. Thank you.
Yeah. Last question I have for you. You know, when you look at how all these leagues around sports have handled the pandemic so far, how do you think the NFL's handled it so far? Do you see them, you know, finishing the whole season out with the playoffs? What are your thoughts on that?
I think they've done a good job. And I think they're doing the best they can, because you're talking about so many players. Right. I mean, it's so hard to police so many players. So I think they're doing the best that they can do. I think obviously there's been an uptick in issues over the last several weeks, and they're growing every week. You know, so you're talking about, here we are, tomorrow is San Francisco is going to play a game, and yet they couldn't even go in their building today. You know, that's unheard of. And so players and coaches are having to go through it. And so that's going to be different. There's a lot of different things that have happened. There's players now who they're taking tests on Sunday morning, and they don't know that they're positive, and they playing games, and, oh man, we find out they're positive. So that means a whole another group of players might have been exposed to the virus. So I think they're doing a great job. Can they make it through the whole season? I hope so. But everything says that at some point in time, things might have to stop and restart again. That's what I see.
Follow-up question I had for you on that was, you know, once you get to the playoffs and it's a smaller number of teams, do you see them doing a bubble at all? Do you think they can pull that off?
I think they could. I think with smaller teams you can, because you can really isolate an area, you know, regardless of where Florida or whatever. I'm just throwing out a city to where those hotels could house the players. And you're talking about a 4 or 5 week run now. You know, you're not talking about 16 weeks. You know, you watch what basketball did, and that was phenomenal. You know, they didn't have any issues. Not saying that that the NFL won't, because like I said, just too many players. But at the same time, I think they could. I think that was a proposal that they talked about, that they're talking about 16 teams and having it start that way, and just whittling it down based on who loses.
Yeah, so I do this fun little segment with all my guests that come on the show. It's called the Rapid Fire segment. But before we get to that, I want to speak on your foundation, the Hugh Jackson Foundation, and this is amazing. When I looked at it, you guys are doing a great job. Obviously, a lot of it involves with a lot of kids and trying to help out these kids. And how did this come about? And obviously, you work with Kimberly, and I'm having her on the show Saturday, and I'm really looking forward to that interview. And so, when did you connect with her, and how did this foundation come about? And the success rate is like high right now for you guys, and it's just amazing what I'm seeing.
Yeah, my family really started the deal with human trafficking. And that's where everything started for us. It was something that we wanted to make an impact on. We built a facility in Cleveland. We partnered with the Salvation Army, the Harbor Light District. And that's where we house victims of human trafficking and try to do everything we can to help them get back to the mainstream as fast as they can. We have another deal called Strangers and Changers. Kim I'm sure she will blow you away when you interview her, because she's fantastic. She's very good at what she does. But we're trying to make an impact in human trafficking. As we know, it's a billion-dollar industry the wrong way. And we want to do everything we can for these men, women, and children that are being trafficked across the world. And then within our communities, we're trying to become, changers. People are normally strangers. I know for me, being a football coach, I don't normally get to know my neighbor because I'm never home, and I think people need to pull down that glass and get to know each other a little bit more. So people who are strangers can now become changers, really start doing something in your community to make a difference and make an impact for each other. And that's truly what it's all about.
That's awesome.
Are you ready for this rapid fire segment?
Let's go.
All right. The first one is, so throughout your coaching career, how many times did you yell at the ref?
About 1,000.
What's your most memorable game that you coached in college and in the NFL?
In college, it was against Penn State, Joe Paterno, the Kickoff Classic. I was coaching at USC. And in the NFL, it was me coaching the Raiders against the Denver Broncos. We scored 59 points.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Did you like moving around a lot to different place to place and but to team to team?
Very honestly, hell no. I mean, it was, but that's what you had to do. So you do what you have to do.
Favorite food?
Chicken.
All right.
So throughout this NFL season, have you been constantly breaking down film throughout the season and looking at each team and what their pros and cons are, or weakness and strong points are?
Oh, absolutely. I've been, been very involved that way, seeing the trends and seeing what the differences are going to be in the league.
How are you ready? Are you ready to come back now? How what are you most looking forward to? Whoever gives you the opportunity, what are you most looking forward to?
Leading players, just leading men, just getting people to believe in a mission and how to win, taking a group of men and getting them to understand what it takes to win week in and week out.
Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, what did you say now?
Oh, Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
Kawhi,
okay.
What now?
Oh, Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh? Wait,
Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart all the way. My guy.
Did you hear Kawhi Leonard's laugh yet before when he was in Toronto?
I know. I've seen that, but anything Clippers I don't like. I'm a Laker.
Okay. Speaking of Lakers, what was your reaction when they won the championship and LeBron's fourth ring, and obviously the city, and what's it like seeing the city of LA being the title town this year with everything going on?
The greatest championship in the history of the franchise because of Kobe Bryant. Yeah. And when LeBron did what he said he was going to do, he did. He got the organization back to where it should be among the elite.
What outside of obviously you're not coaching, but what else do you like to do? So right now, what else do you like to do outside of watching football?
I think you hit on a couple of it. I think it's our mission with the foundation, truly impact human trafficking, our strangers to changers. I'm a partner in a tequila brand, 100% USDA organic tequila. We think it's the best in the world. I've had people say they're putting down Casamigos, Don Julio, and all of that for ours. So I would think I really enjoyed that. That's been a lot of fun. And just, excited about getting back to football, watching it and understanding and seeing the trends and seeing what's going on. It's been a good time.
Speaking of tequila, I know that The Rock has a tequila brand.
Bring it on. Tell The Rock, let's compete. Any day, anytime. Well, he'll put his 4 up there and I'll put my 4 up there and let's go.
No, I was going to ask you if you contacted him about a partnership or no.
Oh, no, I haven't. He needs to be contacting me about a partnership.
Yeah. So what advice would you give these kids or young athletes that are trying to get to their goals?
Invest in yourself. And that means a lot. I think when I say that, people sometimes don't understand. So what I mean by that, if you're a young player, do everything you can to improve your skill. If you're a coach, go to every seminar, meet with every person you can that knows more football than you so you can learn something from them. And a lot of people don't invest in themselves. They invest in the person they're working for.
Right.
And the person you're working for, he's the one that's making the money and getting the opportunities, and you're not. So invest in you and make sure that you're ready so when your opportunity comes, you know what needs to happen.
So obviously I saw your interview with Global Kid Media, and that was a great interview, by the way, on Instagram. And what's it like seeing these kids utilizing platforms like Instagram and Twitter and all, especially young kids at 14 or 9 years old? What's it like seeing that now in this generation?
It's amazing. I felt like I was talking to a grown-up. It wasn't like he was a kid. He's been well schooled. He's very sharp. I'm sure his parents have great values and they've done a great job with him. But he is light years ahead of where a lot of people at 14 years old is, and so I'm thankful for the opportunity to meet with him, and I hope his star just keeps rising.
Yeah, he said that he said that he enjoyed your interview. So, my next one.
He was awesome. He was really good.
Yeah. So my next one here. Do you have the Super Bowl predictions, or too early to tell?
It's early, but if I had to bet, I would say the Kansas City Chiefs are playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, okay.
So how weird is it? How weird is it not seeing full fans in the stadiums this year? Hopefully by next year we can have the full fans. But how weird is it not seeing fans? 20.
It is really weird, and they pipe in that crowd noise and the phony cheering. Are you kidding me? It's amazing. All of this has been different. No fans, the players with masks, the officials with masks. The official, when he's making a call, got to pull his mask down and say what it is and put his mask back. It's just different. This is a different time. But what it shows you that people can do different. If anything, everybody's tackled this and said, hey, this is what needs to be done. Let's do it. And that's what people are doing today.
Yeah, so during the week, actually this week I had Jeff Garcia on my show too, the former quarterback, NFL quarterback. Yeah, so he was on the show. Obviously he was talking about Cam Newton. And did you have any instance where when you were coaching, did you have any players or some analysts talking about your players in a negative way? Have you had that instance before?
Oh, absolutely. Players, myself, and that's their job. I respect that. I understand it. Our players understand that. When you do well, people praise you. When you don't do as well, people criticize you. That comes with it.
Mm-hmm. And the last two things here before I let you go, this is obviously talking about Kobe. This is a question I've been bringing up to all my guests about the Kobe Bryant situation, his daughter, Gianna, mama mentality, and then the rest of the people that were involved. And he was one of my role models. And it was just more devastating to hear that his daughter was involved, and she was UConn bound. She could have been the next WNBA star. So do you remember where you were at that day, and what did they mean to you? Obviously, you're a Laker fan too. So
yeah, I was at my home in my office doing some football work, And a good friend of mine called and told me that Kobe had been involved in an accident and he may have passed. I go, you have to be, there's no way. And I remember the weekend because that's when the NFL, I think Pro Bowl was played. And so I sat there, and I know Kobe personally, and it really hit me between the eyes like losing a family, because he was Mr. LA, he was Mr. Laker to me, and I have his jersey here signed by him, and I'll never forget it. And I never met the daughters, but I met him several times, and he's always been good to me. And what an unbelievable person, player, father, husband. I mean, he was a good man.
And the last thing here, this is a question I leave off for every guest. Would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and essential workers right now?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to tell them thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all their hard work. Trust me, if we did not have the essential workers, we would be in bad shape. The fact that they keep coming back each and every day and putting their lives on the line for us just says everything, that they get it. And a lot of people need to understand the sacrifices that they're making for us so that we have a chance every day to move around and do the things that we need to do and understand this virus much better, so that we'll have a chance to conquer it in the end.
Yeah, so there it is, episode 586. Coach Hugh Jackson from the NFL College, my co-host Canley Elliott, and this is truly an honor for you to be joining. I'm hoping you get another opportunity in the NFL or college football, and continued success with the foundation. And I'm sure we're going to connect again soon. And if you guys ever need help with the foundation, I'm here. But keep up the great work, and I'll be posting this on all social media formats. And you and your family stay safe.
Thank you so much. Thank both of you. And thank you. And you guys stay safe. And I love to say, go Browns. I see you got the Dukies back there in the background.
Yeah, we're back there.
Go Duke. You got all kind of trophies back there behind you now. Yeah. That's for sure. But you guys, thank you for the opportunity. Keep doing great work. That's a lot of episodes you've been involved in. I'm sure you're going to have a lot more ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Please say hello to Amy Trash for me.
Yeah, I will. Actually, I'm going to tag her and I'm going to tag. I always tag her in my interview so she knows.
Oh, awesome. You're a special person.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All righty.